welcome to Expo City Dubai and COP28. I want to extend a warm welcome, sorry for the lack of better words, given that it's very hot in December and we are in a climate change conference. I'm going to ask the panelists to come up on the stage, please. I'll introduce every single one of them, don't worry.
مش هتروح انت الاول؟
تفضل.
Thank you so much for waking up very early to be here. I really appreciate it. Today's panel discussion is very interesting, and it's actually titled Empowering Youth to Drive Sustainable Solutions. We're very excited to have a group of diverse change makers from PepsiCo's different programs, mainly our Arab Youth Hackathon and the Greenhouse Accelerator Program. And they're here in today's event to basically discuss and engage with the company's senior leadership. I'm going to take this opportunity to introduce the CEO of PepsiCo Middle East, Mr. Amir Sheikh. Big round of applause, please.
Thank you, Dana. Pleasure.
The session obviously is a theme of youth, innovation, and sustainability, and this is why we're all actually here today in COP28. And if you can see that the majority, I hope the majority of us are still within the way of youth range group, hopefully me too. So I'm very glad to have you guys here. I'm very actually interested to see what you guys have been doing. The session is also about exploring innovative solutions and the role of youth in sustainability. And we hope to kind of inspire you guys on the actual combination and collaborative space of sustainable initiatives being put together all in one space, and the pursuit of both environment and social responsibility. So without further ado, please, I'm going to ask each and every single one of the panelists to introduce themselves.
Hello, my name is Nada Ghanem. I'm the founder and managing director at Duda Solutions. At Duda, we raise earthworms and produce premium quality organic fertilizers at scale, industrial scale. Thank you.
Okay, very excited to be here today. My name is Rabi Ramadan. I'm the founder and CEO. Everyone is a CEO here. I'm the founder and CEO of Noor Nation. And yes, I'm Egyptian, and I'm so happy to be there with you.
Thank you.
Dr.
Hafif Wahbi. I come from Lebanon. We're working on Green Taqa. Our innovation is biogas, offering dairy farmers a solution to manage their livestock waste while generating massive amounts of energy. Thank you.
And I'm Ibrahim Badawi. I'm half Egyptian, half German, 20 years old. And I'm the founder of My Treaty. It's a company introducing sustainable enterprise resource planning to the world from the MENA region.
Awesome. Great.
Wow, 20, you make me feel so old. Okay, so the first question goes to the company's leadership. Mr. Amr, how do you say education actually plays a role in this amazing group of youth and youth in general to become the future leaders of sustainability?
No, thank you, Zena. And look, I think when you were talking about the majority of us are in this young cohort, I'm probably outside that majority. And certainly with Ibrahim, you saying 20 years old, I feel right at place, right at home. Don't worry. But look, the way we look at education is really changed in the last probably decade or so. And I think a lot of that has to do with the young generations that exist today, right? We're seeing some massive transformation, the way Gen Z and Gen Alpha consume data, consume knowledge, and use the resources available to them, which are limitless, right? And no boundaries. So to me, to be able to then impact education, it has to be much more experiential, much more impactful, because this generation is all about they're digitally savvy, they're socially conscious, and they're very action-oriented, right? So to me, it's about how do you bring experiential learning to be able to take what they're seeing. Often they're at the core of what's available on a theoretical basis, learnings from what others are doing, but how do you bring that learning to them, right? So we've done it in a couple of ways at PepsiCo. I think we're partnering with public sector, government, educational institutions, and like-minded bodies to create these entrepreneurial incubators of course, Greenhouse Accelerator and Arab Youth Hackathon, some of you are part of those programs. You can talk more about that, right? But what is it that we're trying to do? First, it starts with the premise that we don't have all the answers. So how do you tap into the ecosystem that exists, the energy that's there, and the disruptive mindset that is there to change the world and change the world for better, being more environmentally conscious, being more socially conscious, and being more concerned about the challenges that we're all facing, right? So to me, those are some of the great examples of how we've been able to drive that. I think the other example would be we're partnering with various educational institutions, AUD, American University of Dubai, Prince Sultan University in Saudi Arabia, to get the younger minds, get the youth of this day more focused on climate. How do you create, let's say, sustainability clubs in those places? How do you drive collection drive and make their campuses waste-free? How do you unleash that energy? And one example I would use is a lot of us grew up in the schooling system that encouraged collection, that encouraged recycling, right? But now we have the technology to offer what we're rolling out as Aquafina water stations in some of those campuses where you don't need to bring a bottle of plastic or a bottle of water to your school or colleges. If you have the refillable bottle, you can use that to get a great tasting water, flavored, sparkling of your choice, that's customized for you, and you're actually now seeing firsthand the advantage of having a plastic-free campus, right? And if everybody had a refillable bottle, you have access to that. We have programs, we have gamified a recycling journey. We partner with the Orenda tribe and some of the communities in the Middle East. We're exploring with our school children of what does it mean for a plastic bottle to be recycled. How does a bottle become a bottle again through gamification? So those are the different ways that you can really bring hands-on some of the experiential learning to the communities, which augments what they're seeing on social media.
Thank you. I'm actually jealous of the generation because they get to gamify certain things when we had chalkboard and we had to sit in a formal way with the students. Now, actually, the teachers and students are always actively engaged, which is amazing. You've also touched a point on about the resources that this generation have, and also that's another blessing. As I'm going to give this question to all of you, but basically, what are the support and resources that you guys as young entrepreneurs need in the sustainability sector to kind of make it happen?
To start answering your question, so I'd like to address it from a different way by discussing the two main challenges we face as entrepreneurs in sustainability currently. The first thing is the lack of policies and legislations when it comes to innovative sustainability startups. For example, in insect farming, here in UAE, we still don't have the right framework to register and know what are the steps to make this happen in the region. And this example extends to the entire GCC region. Hey, thank you. So for example, in Lebanon, I'm currently doing the efforts to register my farm officially at the government, and they're doing like exceptional meetings to see how to maneuver through things, and it's gonna happen, but it's gonna be the first time to happen. Similar to Duda, I believe that renewable energies and other sustainability initiatives really need the support of the government and policymakers to make the road easier for them. So, for example, if the government subsidized electricity and water, for example, for farmers, why do farms care for investing in advanced technologies to reduce water consumption and farming? They wouldn't care, you know? So this is an integral challenge we are facing, and we need a collective support to be able to overcome it. Another challenge is access to financing, because sustainable startups and sustainable businesses mainly are not similar to the other conventional investments or businesses. So mainly we get access through impact donors or through sustainability grants. For example, now we have the PepsiCo Greenhouse Accelerator Program, which have been leading, like PepsiCo have been leading in the private sector, prioritizing sustainability and believing that this is the right way to build a healthier and prosperous generations for the years to come. But we need other private companies, other sectors to follow their lead as well. This would help us a lot. Thank you.
What about you guys? What do you think are the resources or support that you need that might be different from other industries?
I can spend the whole day talking about the kind of support and resources that we need to support entrepreneurs, but I will just pick few things, such as the access to innovation. Access to authentic and the true innovation. One of the most challenges that we also face as tech entrepreneurs, especially when it comes to in the sustainability field, is when you do an MVP, when you do a product, and you need to test it, and after you test it, you need to create your MVP, and you need to create your first sales, revenue, etc. But maybe in the middle of the way, you can find that your solution is not innovative enough. And this is because you haven't done the research that you should do. And entrepreneurs themselves alone is really hard to initiate this innovation and have this proof of concept that their innovation actually works and it is innovative and it is solving a solution at an affordable price. So starting from the academia, and when you study in a university or a school or something, the kind of support that we really need in each country is that you go to the academic people who have the knowledge and the access to data, and those who have also the labs that we should provide, private sector or governmental or both combined, so that they can help them create their innovation and tackle the challenges and come up with a POC or a proof of concept. And after that, in the same chain, the financing institutions or the same entity should push and learn or teach those entrepreneurs how to go to market and then how to finance their solutions, and then they will go. It is happening somehow in some of the Gulf countries. It is happening all the way in Europe and the US, but there is a huge lag in most of the Middle East and Africa when it comes to access to innovation. Access to innovation means that your solution is innovative, but at the end of the day, we are tackling climate change. And who is most vulnerable to climate change? The poorest people, the people or the group of low income, those who need your solutions. And in a way or another, the revenue model, the solution should be affordable so that it should be scalable. Otherwise, it will be very hard to scale if you are lacking innovation and at the same time lacking the revenue model, the adequate revenue model that would create revenue from those vulnerable people. Yeah.
Thank you. Obviously, everyone here agrees that sustainability can't be done alone, and it has to be through everyone. What about you guys? What support do you think you need?
Okay, thank you. So I will not deny that, of course, financial resources are the key to help these startups bring their idea or vision to life. Aside from that, more often than not, we have an innovative idea that is not, that the public is not aware of. So it's our responsibility to build rigorous campaigns, educational campaigns, and marketing campaigns to bring these ideas to the youth. Youth meaning children. Us being categorized as youth, I also am, it's a questionable thing for me. Are we youth? So we have that link between children and adults. So that being said, we should access schools and teach them about these innovative solutions and tell them what the future should look like, yes.
Yeah, I second all these points, to be honest, so I don't want to bore you all with the same talk, but I'd like to really share one story. I remember once I was with one of the region's biggest VCs, without naming it, and the managing director told me, well, your idea is a great project. You could go work with a university, and I think we really need to change this mindset. Clean tech or climate tech ideas, they're not university projects. The world is now more than ever in need of those products, or those solutions at least. And so if we really want to innovate, going back to your point, we really need to pour in the money. And I don't know from where it should start, but I think governments play a very pivotal role in that regard. So hopefully we're gonna have clean or at least impact VCs very soon. Let's see.
Okay,
Yeah,
so we've heard.
If I may just comment on what I'm saying, I think it started sustainability or climate impact for companies to focus on. It started off as a side project, something they did. With PepsiCo Positive strategy, we try to bring it in the middle of our everything we do, right? Everything is, so it becomes part of the commercial strategy. We're having a very interesting discussion with Tala this morning about, you know, is sustainability driving the commercial strategy, or is the commercial strategy driving the sustainability? I think we're getting to a point where one cannot coexist without the other. So as you talk to VCs and other businesses, I think that's the point we like to bring it home. If we're in the beverage industry, where water plays a critical role, and if you don't have access to clean water, there's no business. Right? So then focusing on clean water, making it available, sustainable, and economical, affordable, that is your business. That is the business you're in, right?
This is what we do.
That's why you're in the program.
Absolutely, yeah. So to me, I think you're making a great point, and I think all of us can be more evangelical about bringing the two together versus doing one or the other.
So Amir, you've heard basically from everyone about their kind of struggle with resources or what they think they need support with. What do you think is the biggest kind of barrier facing youth in this region specifically when they come to?
Yeah, I think the teams are very consistent, right? So I came across this statistic that was interesting, that since 2010, there are about 49 climate tech-related startups in this region. In the same period, Europe had more than 3,000, US had more than 2,000, right? So clearly this is an opportunity, and if you think of the most water-stressed nations in the world, quite a few from them are here, right? So, and that's just on water. And then you start looking at regenerative agriculture, renewable energy, and some of the other sources, it becomes a here and now challenge. So I think you talked about public policy, spot on. We need to educate the governments more. We need to work closely with them. You also talked about financing, and there's a building with a big climate finance board on it. I don't think they're quite handing out the money through the windows just yet, but that's where we need to have a lot more focus, not just from the government, but from the private sector, from the public sector, from other agencies, to make sure that they are focusing on this as their way to drive it. I think what we didn't talk about is mentorship. To me, look, some of you, I'm like you, I'm also quite jealous, right? That you are at the cutting edge working on problems that will impact us today, that have impacted us already. Not enough of us are working towards the solution. So hats off to you. You could have gone in many different ways, but you've chosen this, and I think it's the right thing. And I think if you fast forward, a lot of us will be looking back to say, we didn't do enough. So the fact that you're here today now, doing as much as you can, I want to make sure that you have the right support, the right mentorship, to be able to help you commercialize those ideas. And we use this a concept of seed to shelf, right? So how do you go from a potato seed to a great tasting potato chip that is available for you to buy? What is the equivalent of that, right? How do you go from an idea to commercialization in as short of a time as you can, with the right financing to scale up, with the right mentorship, and with the right regulatory environment? And one last thing that you're missing is a network. You talked about VC through Greenhouse Accelerator and Arab Youth Hackathon. Hopefully you're getting access to more and more companies. You have to develop an ecosystem where you have to find opportunities of different individuals or organizations that may be solving a different part of the same problem. And how do you bring this puzzle together? And this is where maybe some of you in these programs can join forces. Maybe someone else will come to you after the program and say, well, I'm trying to solve the same problem. How can we share notes? So in the right regulatory environment, right infrastructure, right financing, right network, and the right support, there's no reason why you cannot scale them up to make them big. So to me, these are the barriers, and collectively we all have a responsibility to remove these barriers, remove these obstacles, and let some of these businesses thrive.
Yeah, definitely. Thriving is actually one of the main topics that people were actually talking about, is that we don't have to settle for sustainability. There was actually someone that brought this up yesterday. We have to settle for actually thriving over sustainability. And hopefully if you guys are going to make it to the shelf into a potato, please don't make it as a plastic wrap potato. Try to be package free. But for the Greenhouse Accelerator champions that we have here, what does finance kind of play a role? And how did you guys actually able to finance this and make sure that it actually goes into the next step?
So for Duda, we started from my personal money and family and friends, we invested a lot in the idea because we believed in it when no one was believing in it, and we were able to scale our work, invest a lot in R&D, to have a really scalable model. In the past 2 years, we've been accessing accelerator programs back in Lebanon, and luckily, we were shortlisted to be among the 6 finalists in the PepsiCo Greenhouse Accelerator program. And thankfully, we won the challenge as well. And this just reflects the amount of work that has been invested in Duda to bring this solution to everyone, basically to all the farmers in the region, not just keeping it in Lebanon, in a local-based small region. So in terms of financing, so far we were able to raise up to $300,000 non-equity grants. This is in addition to our personal investment. Yeah.
Okay, it's amazing. Well done.
Thank you.
What about you, Rag? How do you balance your financial with your sustainability goals?
I will get my CFO on the phone to answer this question. No, there is one statement: keep fundraising. Wherever the stage, or whatever the stage that you are in your startup, in your venture, either you're a startup or even big corporate, keep fundraising. This could be from equity, fundraising from VCs, private equity, debt financing, or even fundraising from your clients. Yeah, this is very important. So at Noor Nation, we started like bootstrapping completely in the first 2 years, when we were just like 3-4 people, and we were squeezed with very limited resources, but also I believe we did very well. And after that, we started to receive a lot of grants and awards. And grants and awards are really important because they help you with your operational expenses, but at the same time, they are a kind of verification that your solution is innovative and scalable. And the third thing is we open our seed investment round, and we hope that it is scheduled to be closed by the first quarter of 2024, where we are like in contact with many VCs in the climate tech across Africa and Europe and MENA, and I am happy to say that less than 2 months ago, we received our first equity investment from Catalyst Fund. They are an early stage VC based in the US and Kenya, and they're actually, this is very important, your first investment is the hardest one. Because if you received an investment, especially when it comes to a VC having an equity in your company and taking the risk, they have been through like 3 months, 4 months due diligence, etc. It means that it is easier for other VCs that you are already verified and acknowledged, and other VCs can be on board, or investors can be onboarded quickly. So this is how we accelerated in the past few weeks, but we received also more than $150,000 of grant money, and we have been fundraising from our clients, which is equivalent to our revenues. So since our incorporation in February 2022, we made a revenue of 400,000 US dollars. And one of the most important thing also for the climate tech entrepreneurs and the startup that where you can raise money from is actually selling carbon credits. And since we are a renewable energy company and we are providing safe water and clean energy to remote areas, replacing the diesel generation for irrigation, for agriculture, etc., we actually have a lot of carbon credits or carbon footprint that we have been tracking, verifying, and recording, and then issuing these carbon credits to some off-takers worldwide for some big corporates who want to meet their net zero emissions by 2050, which is really hard to be done on the ground, so alternatively they buy carbon credits. This is also a source of revenue. So this is quickly our journey when it comes to fundraising in the past 2.5 years.
Thank you so much.
If I may add something, so when it comes to financials, sustainability startups are similar to any other startups, but how do we combine sustainability with finance is the unique edge here. For example, in Duda, we don't, like if we compare like conventional companies with sustainable companies, usually they already have their finances set, the easy money, they can get loans and etc. They just look how to give more meaning and value to the services or products they do through maybe sourcing more sustainable products or make packaging free or any others. In our case in Duda, the entire business is built on sustainability, from raising earthworms, where we conserve a species that's already at risk, to feeding them organic waste, which the worms eat, so we will be contributing to circular economy. And at the end of the cycle, we will be producing multiple products of organic fertilizers which feed into the soil ecosystem, restoring it and bringing several sustainability benefits to the environment. So this is already there, but at the same time, we're making profit. So it makes it easier so we're not achieving some sustainable benefits. We have the sustainability, we're presenting it, but at the same time, we're making money.
No, thank you, Nada, honestly, for sharing like spot-on solutions and actual live action of what you guys are doing together. So moving on with Afif and Ibrahim, you guys are from the Arab Youth Hackathon, which is basically you're still in the ideation phase. So how do you guys envision scaling up your sustainable solution?
Okay, thank you for that question. So being also categorized as youth, I also believe we're the hardest workers, the ones that are not going to easily take no for an answer, the ones that are going to persevere through hardships and obstacles. And that being said, usually we're going to be persevering until we reach our goals. It's also key to make a good team, link up with people who believe in the same vision, people from marketing who will help you and everyone establish linkages with key players in regions abroad and not limit ourselves to our region or our nation. And finally, being the youth or internet age, we have to stay up to date with all the new trends, all the accelerators that will help us guide our vision and turn our dreams into reality. Thank you.
Ibrahim, you're in the ESG space, so you should have a good idea of how you want to scale up.
No, I'd like to actually first sound the alarm, because if we were all fintech startups, I think this conversation would have been really easy. How much did you raise? I would have said 15 million. Someone else would have said 10 million. And what are you doing? We're doing some cloud-based solution. Like, it's the same jargon. But you saw now how much they're suffering and how much effort they're putting to get $300,000. I think this is really a shame, and this is something we should really be. I mean, grants are very important. They really grow a seed, as you kindly put, but they're not a way or not a sustainable way to grow an entire business. Let's compare ESG management companies in the MENA region and Europe. Europe, you have companies like Watershed, they raised $25 million, $30 million, whereas here we're suffering to raise $500,000. That's really sad, and I think it shouldn't be the case. We have the money, so we have the finances, and we have the people, we have the data, we have everything. And It's really sad, and I'm really scared. Like, okay, in 1 year when I'm in their position, what would be would I suffer as well? I don't want to suffer. And I know I need to suffer eventually, but
You don't have to.
I don't have to. Other companies aren't. So, and I really, really thank Pepsi for this opportunity massively, because no one else is helping us. No one. It's like the only company that until now facilitated financing opportunities, or even, let's not even focus on the money, as you kindly put, experiential learning. I remember one of the most lessons I learned was when I was in the Netherlands. I was studying mechanical engineering, and I was part of a club called TU Ecomotive. It was essentially teaching us how to build a car sustainably. So we were building chairs from horsehair that falls. And it's really, you learn by doing. And that's what we really learned, at least in the hackathon. And I think, I can't thank you enough, so thank you. And I think everyone, please, a round of applause, because they've helped us a lot. But hopefully we can really find some VCs at least soon.
Okay, so I'm going to actually leverage on that and keep that hype up with you. Brahim, can you let us know what you think is missing, or what is actually needed when it comes to sustainable policies in this field?
I want to be politically correct. I don't think we have sustainability policies. If we compare the policies that are in this region, in comparison at least to the policies that are in Europe, there's a very big difference. In Europe, from January 1, 50,000 companies have to report on ESG impact. How many companies have to report in the MENA region? I don't have a number, but I'm pretty sure that's less than 100. Or at least I don't know of any. So you have companies like Pepsi who do sustainability reports voluntarily. They don't need to do sustainability reports. But what are the regulations here? And I think really governments should interact with startups who have this experience. Tell them, hey guys, what do you need? How can we help you? But no one did it to me, at least. And I don't know if anyone did it to you. It shouldn't be the private sector. The private sector should focus on their innovation, improving their products, and it shouldn't be Pepsi's role in raising startups. It is a great thing to do, but it's not their duty. I think it's the duty of the entire world and governments.
Thank you. Afif, what do you think about policies?
Well, we are a little behind, as Ibrahim said. We can use those examples to work on and bring them to this side of the world. Furthermore, we believe that we are the leaders of tomorrow. So if not us, someone from our team will be definitely or have the intention or the will to suffer and work through government hierarchies to reach a stage where they can actually establish these sort of policies. And also, as I previously mentioned, rigorous education programs.
Okay, what about you? Is there any specific policy maybe that you've seen abroad or you've heard of that you feel like would work here in the MENA region?
Regardless of the policies, this is something that should not block your path and vision and mission of what you do. Yeah, I know that what you're referring to is like the Europe and the US are much more mature when it comes to sustainability policies, incentives, etc., that can actually make the life of climate and agri-tech entrepreneurs much easier. But I'm so lucky to be Egyptian, and I'm so lucky to be in this region, because this region, although all of the very hard work, access to data, access to finance, economic downturns, the lack of regulations, this is actually, I believe, I want to be grateful. This is what made me what I am right now. And building it the hard way is what really makes an entrepreneur resilient. And this is one of the most important terminologies that we're going to use in the coming few years. And this resilience is actually what will make you succeed in your country, although it is really hard, but also scale easier and faster. Maybe other than entrepreneurs who have been in Europe, in the US, but still they don't have the ambition and the passion to do what they are doing. Because finding it too easy and too regulated also has a reflection of lacking real innovation. Yeah? Look to Nigeria, look to East Africa, look to Central Africa, and look to the amount of investment that has been raised to those guys and startups in a region like Nigeria from VCs. You'll find that startups or Nigerian startup in the past 5 years, they have raised much more money than other countries, Egypt, even more than Egypt or South Africa. And those are very hard ecosystem. And those guys, they have incredible talent, and we have incredible innovative solutions, and they're receiving the most money, the most amount of money, the biggest values from investors. Why? Because they're in Nigeria. Yeah. So if those guys, the same guys, were raised or born or have this ease of regulations and ease of ecosystems in other countries like MENA or in Europe or US, I am sure that they will be the way or the same that whom they are right now. So policies are hard, I really agree, and they are lack of a lot of regulations when it comes to sustainability, the ecosystems in general, where I come from, but still I am so grateful to those countries, to those ecosystems that made me resilient and they made me whom I am right now.
Yeah. May I quickly add to this point? Because I respectfully disagree with one regards, because it doesn't need to be difficult. I mean, you can say companies in Germany, they're not ambitious. No, they're very ambitious. They're very innovative. They have great solutions. Yeah. And so I don't think innovation is linked with policy. They're really not linked. Policy is meant to support the foundation. Yeah. I'm going to make a foundation that will support everyone to innovate. And that's really what I'm trying to emphasize. Okay, let's be like Europe. Let's have those foundations. Let's have those principles to enable us to work easily and not focus on policy. We shouldn't focus on policy. We should focus on our product. Yeah. That's the difference. Yeah. So.
You have also a lot of startups in Europe and the US who have the policy, the access to finance and everything, but they failed. Yeah, it is really, and if those startups wouldn't have been that they are want to do something and they are eager and they're keen to do what they do, they wouldn't be successful. So it's like what I want to say, that don't use like the lack of policies and regulations, etc. It's like the hang where you're saying that, oh, there is no enough policy here. I will not do my business here. I'm not able to access to finance, and eventually. I'm not encouraged enough to open my startup and business. Maybe you can do it in another country, but lacking of policies, that maybe there's something that doesn't stop you. The governmental bodies need also the entrepreneurs and the private sector to lobby and develop the policies by time. They really need them. Maybe you don't know, but they need it. Even they become so slow, etc. But you have also the power to embark on and influencing them, even like a very fraction of percentage, but you still can do it. This is my point of view, but I respect yours.
No, this is great. Actually, it's very nice to see that diverse range of thinking from experience, where you are at your stage of the project versus where you are. It's actually very nice to see this fruitful discussion. Yeah. Do you want to add anything about policy?
Of course, I'd like to add something, that when talking about policies, it's a long-term process. It has to start from educating the policymakers to start with. So I've been one of the meetings during COP, and top-level people were discussing, from different countries, discussing the level of policies when it comes to sustainability, and even they were elderly people, so not our age, and they were struggling with their superiors to pass the idea of why putting a certain policy is important. And honestly, at the end of the meeting, I sensed that we're still a bit far from achieving some change when it comes to policy making. We have a long way through. We need to do advocacy for sustainability. We need to form coalitions and networks of startups, of like-minded organizations, to raise our voices and stress and emphasize the importance of setting such policies. You can give multiple examples of policies across the world, whether from organic waste management, food waste management. In France, they issued a law where restaurants are not allowed to throw waste. They need to donate it or they get a fine. the same day they started donating food and they solved a big problem, you know? So it's not our responsibility. We shouldn't be thinking and putting a lot of effort there. There should be technical, professional teams that are sustainability teams that are working with the government to issue policies when it comes to sustainability, so each one can do his role, can put the effort in the right place, so that everyone can benefit from the end result. So, Raj is right.
Sorry, you're competing with the plane. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
We have to be louder when we talk about policy.
Exactly.
Even here, you know.
I didn't know we were on a flight path. But look, I mean, first, I really love my job. I get an opportunity to sit here and listen to you guys, and I'm really not trying to interrupt the conversation because I think you're getting to the heart of the issues. And you talked about resilience. I would add another word, perseverance, very strong work ethic. I mean, all of these are the bedrock of success, right? So you may not see the success, how it may come and what shape, but it will. I mean, it all starts. And it's not about you have to pay your dues, and it's just you're going through a cycle where every obstacle can also be a stepping stone. So if you think about public policy is not available in most of your field, you actually have an opportunity to write it. Write it for the government. Take it to them and say, well, this is a good starting point. What do you want to add to this, right? Now, many other startups won't have that opportunity because the regulations are already out there and you're trying to fit something that addresses those regulations. You don't have those constraints. So I would really take some of those restrictions out and say you have a clean sheet of paper, write your business plan, write your opportunity, write your regulatory environment, and then get to the right people to make sure that you can bring it to reality.
Yes, do agree. Yeah.
Thank you. Honestly, very nice. I've learned a lot personally. Thank you so much, Amr, for this amazing interaction with the leadership of PepsiCo. And I hope you guys also, obviously the audience also enjoyed it. Maybe get a raise of hands for how many did actually enjoy this discussion. Okay, that's
Nice.
That's great.
Yeah.
Keep the hands up for a photo.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for wrapping
And
up.
can I also thank my team because some of you talked about how PepsiCo is doing these things. Look, no one person and no one company can do it all, right? And we're blessed with some amazing and very talented individuals. Some of you are here in the audience who have actually gone through, met a lot of startups, you know, whether it's through Greenhouse Accelerator, Arab Youth Hackathons, organized some of these city-by-city events where we've been able to shortlist. We've learned a lot along the way, and the more you get to know this ecosystem, the more you realize that we're just scratching the surface. Yeah. There's a lot more to be done for us individually, for us collectively, and for us organizationally. Like you know, who may have had many other opportunities to do this differently, I think all of us think about how can we add more value both as PepsiCo employees, but also as in our individual capacity.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.